Yo, 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 Matt.
Bobby, Taco Tuesday.
What's going on, man? What's
Taco
going
Tuesday.
on? Talk to me. Give me some good news. Give me any news.
Well, I tried your rub last night on the fish taco meat, the halibut. Fantastic, by the way. Thank you for your fantastic manja rub. Works great on shrimp, and I can now tell you any white meat fish like halibut. Excellent.
My brother used it for 30 plus years at the Shrimp Walk restaurant in Highwood, Illinois. So it's, people congratulate me on my rub. It's not my rub. It's my brother's rub. But I take full credit for whenever I can, wherever I can. Much like comedy, I pretty much have lived my life from the mid-'70s National Lampoon album, That's Not Funny, That's Sick. Just a fantastic comedy album. I miss the good old days of a comedy album, right?
Yeah. We talked about it earlier. Richard Pryor, the comedy album from the 70s. What was your favorite that you couldn't even play today?
Oh, you couldn't even play it today. That one was called Was It Something I Said? Richard Pryor.
Which, by the way, when we listened to that album while we were playing around in golf this summer, it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And still,
comedy is tragedy.
Still apropos.
Yes, comedy has always been tragedy plus time. I know I've said this before. On the trading floor, I would get calls all the time, routinely, from people, and the question would be, "What do you got?" Meaning, what jokes are circulating on the floor? Because it was a hotbed of joke circulation. Not only that, when something terrible happened in the world, the calls would come in too. All right, what do you got? Like, it's the bodies aren't even stiff yet, right? Depending on the thing, and people are looking for a joke. We've completely lost that in today's society, right? There's zero comedy. Although Bill Burr, I'm going to tell you that Bill Burr is still trying to press the envelope courageously.
He is, and doing it, and with emotional intelligence alongside of it. He even talks about how hard it is for him, to be funny in a place like this. But he's finding ways. I know he's doing it. I think he's doing another show with Rogan down there at one of the Texas barbecues in Austin. I think coming up in January, they've got I think Chappelle and Rogan are doing 5 days of live comedy again at some place down there in Austin, which is pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to get myself to Austin.
Okay. I think, so let me ask you this, with the COVID shutdowns in so many parts of the country in the blue states, and then we've got open states. How do you think this plays out coming in, and coming into the 2021 campaign?
Matt, I'm sorry. I was reading Warren's chat, so you're gonna have to come back to that. But we talked about the rub, and this is the hardware that I keep close.
Hold on, I'm trying to see that thing. Hold on.
Classic. Third place in chicken for the rub. Third place in chicken. So pork and chicken. Believe me, if pork and chicken though, you got to cut it 50-50 with brown sugar. That's a whole nother story. All right, Matt, back to your question, which I completely paid no attention to.
Yeah, that's all right. I was asking, with, blue states, how they're open, like watching football games, they're open in Ohio as Cleveland destroys Pittsburgh again last night, or excuse me, Cincinnati, which is even worse than Cleveland.
Right.
And Cleveland probably will now win the conference, of course, because the dog pound looks like it's rising, and the steel curtain looks like it's just coming down.
Man,
crazy.
Ben wanted to play next year, and he keeps playing the way he's playing. He ain't playing anywhere except maybe the Turkey Bowl. Somebody will draft him.
So my question was, with all the shift of business, possibly, people leaving California, people leaving Oregon, people leaving Washington, the blue states, New York, Massachusetts, they're leaving, and Chicago, Illinois, they're leaving all the blue states. They're rushing to, this is the irony. This is the irony, I think, again, the ambiguity that we keep talking about. The people that are making all the money in these states are leaving. So the tax dollars are leaving, and they're moving. Strangely, you would think, since they all voted blue, why are they leaving the blue states and moving to the red states? So what do they want? I'm confused.
again, the age of ambiguity. It shows no signs of relenting. You know what, Matt? Let me share because I want to talk about this tweet interaction with my friend Jim Urio. Jim is going to be on the show in the new year where he's going to come on. A Chicago guy, a vowel. His nickname is actually Jimmy the Vowels when we were on the floor.
Yeah.
Look at that last name.
I get it. He's got one less vowel than I do in my name.
Exactly.
Or excuse me, one less consonant. One more.
So vowel. His tweet was, when I see the internals of the stimulus bill, I'm reminded of how little they respect us. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And of course, in the age of ambiguity, Matt, right away, people are like, they attached all this stuff to the COVID bill. No, they didn't. They had one huge, huge omnibus spending bill that they had to pass to fund the whole government. And just like every other omnibus bill, there's so much ridiculous pork added to all of it. And, I said to him, it's beyond words, and sooner or later the commoners are going to show up with pitchforks. That's what happens in throughout history, right? When politicians line their frickin' pockets so ridiculously that the common person is like, you know what? I'm going to show up with the pitchfork and get my fair share. I don't care what side you're on. When Al Corleone goes from a net worth of 1.2 million to 300 million, like what great thing did he do? How many people watched his movie? 300 million at $1? It's unbelievable. Sooner or later, and believe me, it's across the board. All right, don't get me fired up on this because the Republicans, McConnell, he's got some checkered past, or with his wife and communists. All of a sudden, the CCP possibly. I can't keep track of it all. All I know that when I see that spending bill, it's freaking ridiculous.
Well, right over in your bottom right there, 2.3 trillion government funding package includes foreign aid, right? Includes? No, it pretty much is foreign aid. Do you have some of the the notes that I sent you last night on some of the different, like the different packages that went out to some of those countries? I'd love for you to show some of those.
Of course I do, Matt. Of course I do.
And then I want to transition into talking about also what was on trending on your Ripple page, on your Twitter page, which was Ripple. Let's talk about what the SEC is doing with Ripple after that.
Well, for sure, the Ripple thing's interesting because they have spent. Come on, that's the rub from last night, Matt. By the way, let's just talk about the occasion. The first thing I thought about when I saw that, though, inside the Market Vitals network here into the private chat, is you need to blacken it more. All right, and it needs to be blackened more. It doesn't look like you crisped it up enough.
I would agree with that, but it tasted great.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, the real fly
Cambodia,
was
85 million.
Yeah, just because
I saw the other one. Here's the one: 1.48 billion to the Asian Reassurance Initiative Act of 2018. I got to tell you, I could use a Reassurance Initiative Act myself. A lot of times, on the golf course, in the squash court,
yes,
in a chess match. I mean, fund me with something. And here's 135 million to Burma.
Yes, that island out in that island.
They need it. They need it. Meanwhile, you get 600 and shut up.
I don't get 600, but you might.
Man, yeah. I mean,
no. Go back. There's one more.
For decades and decades.
There's one more. There's one more you need to show. No.
500 million to Israel.
Half a bill there. This one was good.
Oh yeah. The study. It doesn't show how much money was.
I know, but it's
put into this. Yeah.
The 1908 Springfield.
Listen, there's only one thing you can do in Springfield, Illinois, right? If you're smart, and that's drive through.
There's so many. Was it Springfield on The Simpsons in 1908? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it might. I think it might have been going to The Simpsons. So go back. There's one more. There's one more you need to have.
I knew it would happen.
That's why you shouldn't do this.
All right, we got to go to. That's right, folks. That's right. Read the fine print because I'm going to stand by that statement. That was for the private chat. And for you fast readers, that's how I feel. I need the money just like anybody else does, including Burma. Matt.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, we talk all the time about how all assets are one, right? But I wanted to just show that, for instance, crude rejecting, right, fell apart just like the SPUs, just like the Bitcoinage, just like gold, but not able, like still looking relatively unhealthy as of late. Gold, the same thing, falling apart and not able to retake. And I just say that because it's contrary to both the NASDAQ, the NASDAQ, the SPUs, the Russell.
Still the Russell to me is the shocker. The Russell hit.
Yeah, all of these things have regained their momentum.
Look at that huge overnight move. I mean, the Russell dropped 100 points just about, and it took nothing. I mean, there was no volume in that move. So if you don't think this thing can't fall 400 points with real news, I mean, it's going to come. It's going to come. And I think it just comes at the end of it won't be this year and it won't be the first week of the second year. It'll be sometime between January 15th, probably, and March 15th. So this stuff
But what do you think about this, all assets are one. And my thought is this, that when we start to see real divergencies among assets, that's when the volatility is going to kick in.
Well, you're kind of seeing it today. I mean, the SPUs are flat. The SPUs are flat. The NASDAQ's flat. 30 points in the NASDAQ anymore is flat. And, we're going in again, silly season. There's a few stocks that just have continued momentum to the upside. Shopify's here. Let me share the screen here, Bob.
Yeah. Jump in, take over.
Because I want to talk a little bit about Shopify, but I want to start right here with talking about, hey, Merry Christmas, because we have a Christmas tree type day, pretty much neutral. When I see something like this within every sector, we have green and red and really nothing standing out on this except for Tesla and the opposite, Apple, right? That's about all you have moving in the S&P, going on today. Pretty quiet. And that explains again why we're neutral. That's about as neutral looking of a S&P 500 chart I get. If you looked at the AD, I would probably bet that it's pretty close to neutral, pretty close to zero. Couple things I want to talk about. Google has been selling off since December 1st, sold off down to 1,700 from 1,800, so a significant sell-off. And I actually think it's down another percent today. If it could rally back to 1,760 or so, I'd look at probably putting on some type of bear call spread on this if we were to bounce back. So I want to throw that one out there. Shopify, all-time highs again today. Don't worry about the PE ratio. Don't worry about the financials. It's simply worth 156 billion today. But here's the interesting thing. We finally broke out of this range that we've been in for 6 months. And you can see it happened just a couple days ago. And if you were on board with us, the test here of the breakout at 1150 was supreme. I think you're going to see this range here duplicate itself. It's probably halfway there already here at 1277. That's where it's trading as we speak. It's it's basically at all-time highs. This range of 1140 to 840 is $300. So that projects to me 1440 or so, Bobby. And that could happen, it could happen by the end of the year, the way these markets are moving, how crazy it is. So this bracket, again, markets are all brackets and trends. And right now we were stuck in a bracket, we broke out. And this thing, again, if it falls back below 1120, story's over, there's your risk. But looks to me like any pullbacks can be bought and probably is going to cruise up to 1400 level next. So I thought that one was pretty interesting. Roku, again, continues to new highs, but is selling off today from the open. And there's a couple of these stocks. Snow was another one that did this today. And I want to just kind of dial in a little bit to show this. But yeah, we saw another new high in Roku. So we're gapping up all the profits happen in the gap, and if you're not already long, there's no long trade here today. It's been down 12 bucks from the open. So I point this out just to say it's not that easy to for if you don't understand the market mechanics right now, and you're seeing these gaps for no reason, just because they're literally lifting the offers, and every day somebody's chasing it, and the market makers are getting short into this. I mean, these are some of the greatest trading days to be short, and yet it's green for the day, everybody says, but it's not, right? It's red for the day. If you're just day trading options, if you're selling options, there's a lot of good opportunities here. And then Bob, I'm going to make my attempt at a lame joke here, but it looks like Moderna needs a shot of its own vaccine today. I mean,
wow.
I mean, what a perfect example of sell the news, folks. And we've been talking about it, and you had this rally back to 170 in the right on the first week of December, and since then, and since they started giving everybody the abortion tainted Moderna vaccine, which is crazy. I mean, seeing a headline of the first U.S. bishop to take the Moderna vaccine is kind of shocking, right? You've got, it's just boggling to me, because this stuff has a lot of controversy over it. But it does look like it needs its own vaccine. It's now well below, the balance, the strength, and looks lower. Again, any rallies on this, it's down 10% today. Any rallies on this need to be sold. It probably will hold here today at that 120 area. But if it doesn't, night, going down to 107 next. Bounces, look for a bounce into the 150, 160 range. And again, all kinds of call spreads can be played on these because of these wide moves. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even recommend trading equities. I'd prefer trading the options right now, because they're so fat, they're so liquid, and buying and selling of these is really easy right now. So be careful out there. But that one, to me, Bob, looks like it needs a shot of its own medicine.
Right on.
And again, even Pfizer, some of the big names have kind of done the same. They've all kind of leaked off here. So much for, I mean, when you have everything at your back, and we talked about this, like these things are going to come back down, and it's right back down into balance. I mean, you couldn't ask for better setups. They're trading that 42, 43, and everybody got out. The news is over. The vaccines have started, blah, blah, blah. We're back into balance. So after all that work, Pfizer, what have you done for me lately? But come right back to where we've been trading. Balance.
Matt, the dollar again, not giving up like it did the other day or yesterday. So that's something that I'm keeping an eye on also.
Yep.
You want to bring that up because yesterday was a reaction, but today is more of a possible follow through on the full change of the dynamic in the dollar.
Yesterday we ended up a little bit. It was a little green again on this chart.
Yeah, but it put in just a terrible candle. It had on the news. It had, here. You know what? Let me bring it up, Matt.
Please.
Why wouldn't I? All right, this terrible candle yesterday where they went. Where did it go though? Right to that up momentum level and failed off of it monumentally, kind of like a Chicago Cub run for about 100 years, right? But today, very interesting that it's recaptured a bunch of that. And, I'm sure in the profile, all of these highs, including yesterday's high, is going to be the high end of that profile. It's also going to be where that momentum level is on the daily. So possibly, again, these are evolving stories, Matthew, evolving stories. But for sure, it doesn't look as sick as it did 3 days ago.
No, sure. And again, I expect the pressure on it into the end of the year. And today's the 22nd, so we've got a week. Again, the momentum, because of you have calendar momentum, and nobody's going to bail on positions towards that are winning, whether they're short them and this is a trend down, or they're long them and it's a trend up. They're going to keep pressing because and here's the thing, like there's so many, everybody, they're just like there's a bazillion, sports gambling gurus now. They haven't been in the business like John has, that we have on here for 30 years, right? They're all these kids TikToking and doing all this stuff, you're seeing the same stuff on the stock side of thing, right? Where stocks have literally gone up 100 to 600% since Biden won, and they have no understanding of why that is. That is not normal. That is not normal on any scale. And just because you got a period of time where statistically the abnormality makes you feel like it's real, I would be again alarmed if that continued to stay that way. I just don't see it staying that way. Some of the market,
and so we fractal out here. This weekly level on the dollar, 91.13 on the dollar index, needs to take out that weekly momentum for me to fully believe that the story is turned.
Yep.
The other story that we've been talking about, and Matt's a don't better, by the way, for most things crypto. Let's just call a spade a spade. He was pointing out the XRP news, and let's just take a look at XRP. And I got to tell you, this is news now, but anybody that has been following crypto has always had this on their radar, that XRP ran the chance of being, thought of as a security and therefore in violation. And I got to tell you, they came out and said they fully expect a suit from the U.S. Justice Department against them and the SEC. The U.S. government doesn't, in general, lose cases that they bring. No. So it's for sure, it was a giant warning flag.
Let's see the chart. It's down about 8%.
Here's the XRP chart on the weekly. They had this huge pump 2 weeks in a row. They've fully given it back. They haven't quite got to the weekly average. And for me, more importantly, well, you know what? Let me do one thing here too, Matt, because TradingView has this killer new, because we get to talk what you like, which is, and this is the weekly. So that's the weekly profile, and again,
very
able
bullish,
to sustain itself above the meat
very
of that.
bullish. This is a chart I like if I want to buy. Back there.
Where do you want to buy it?
32 cents.
Yeah. Okay. So all the way back here. My problem with that is if it goes there, it very possibly means that that zero is the potentiality.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of the litigation. I mean, that's the problem with buying the falling knife. And the other thing I wanted to point out, and we've been saying this, I've been saying it for a while, is the cross between Bitcoin. Like, why would you want to own XRP versus Bitcoin looking at this chart? I mean, I just don't get it. Yeah, it had a big pump, but then it couldn't sustain it at all. And it looks like it once again fall to zero versus Bitcoin to me.
Well, it's down, further, even more than Ripple is on its own. It's down 12%. So it's a 50% worse being, on this pair than it is, just being short Ripple.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, Matt, what else?
Well, I think we've got the holidays coming up. We've got, a lot of, hopefully, a quiet end of the week. It doesn't seem like much is going on in the space as far as much changes to the election news. It's gotten pretty quiet again. It's quiet, and it'll be really quiet tomorrow, half day Thursday, and options expire on Thursday. So, for all those playing the weeklies, it's a good time to, I think, sell some of the premium right now, because your time horizon is now not 3 days left in the week, but only 2, because it's a half day. We're past the half day on Tuesday, so you've got 48 hours for a lot of premium to expire. I'd like to sell that premium that's really fat right now. Bob, bring it to me. So I think, there's some names out there that you can look at that you can find a lot of good opportunities. If you're picky, you're doing your homework, you're following your processes and sticking to it. Bitcoin, up 700 again today, up 3%. So back to, it hasn't broken back out of 24 to 25 yet, but it's not going away, and it's not rolling over necessarily. But let me show you my screen real quick. We are back to an area that I believe. Did I show the wrong chart? Are you seeing my screen here?
I can see your screen. Dead nuts perfect, Matt.
Okay. So we're back into balance for the week, which is kind of what we've been saying. We're just kind of chopping around that 23.5 level. And, that's a key. We're at a key level again. You can see we're just in the fat part of the profile for the
Matt,
week.
can you go back one iteration of that, like to where you were just a second ago on a time frame? Did you?
Yeah. It was just a day, one day less.
Man, that is the, correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not the Michigan formation right there.
It's the marching band taking the field.
I gotta tell you,
yeah,
that is for sure the Michigan formation. Go Blue. Yeah, it's dead nuts in the middle again. I always tell you, when it's right in the middle, Stottlemyre would say it's a coin flip.
Flip a coin, which way, place your bets. It's a straddle buy. I don't know. We're going to go one way or the other. I don't know which way. QS, another one of these SPACs, hit 130 today. I just look at this stuff and go, holy shit! That's just like these stocks didn't exist in before September, and then all of a sudden, mid-November, again, post-Biden, we go crazy. 14 to 130, 10x. Folks, that's not normal. Not normal. And then the continuation of so many stocks like Trade Desk is up here at 960 now. It's unrelenting. And again, I've talked about this name in the past. It's so thin. It reminds me of MicroStrategy, which we've also talked about.
Although, yeah, exactly. MicroStrategy saying again in their filing that they've just bought another giant handful of Bitcoin up here.
What's interesting?
Here's the thing, Matt. Just because they called the top fairly effectively in the dot-com bubble doesn't necessarily mean, but they sure are putting on a giant bet at the high of the lifetime price cycle so far.
Well, here's another one that Overstock is another one of these companies that's using their cash to buy Bitcoin, and it doesn't have the same type of, it doesn't have the upside. So, and interesting, about this company, Patrick Byrne, the founder and CEO, he's been, I guess he's been involved with the whole, Trump battle for staying in power, and yet he likes Bitcoin. So I find that an interesting mix. Where
how about it? So it's again, we talk about it all the time. We live in the age of irony. Like strange bedfellows are showing up everywhere you look.
Well, right,
and
so he's long Bitcoin and he's long Trump still, which I'm like, okay.
Another one though that it's very cerebral, the talk of crypto, because I'm not sure how effectively they can shut it down. I don't know. There's a lot, and I do know this. And it's not like if they would have tried to shut it down in 2010, they would have had a better chance. Like you have a decade now of involvement, of infrastructure, of people placing bets. So I don't know. I just don't see how. For sure, the XRP thing, I see that as being a giant problem because it's been thought of to be a potential problem the entire time that it's been out there. Right. And this is not new. People thinking that, oh, wow, what do you mean they're going to be declared a security? And it's been out there since the very beginning. So.
And I'm going to throw up that gold chart just to talk about that again. We talked about 1900 level probably was a good area to sell. It did. It crossed over that threshold just for a moment overnight. Again, this was the European Open a couple nights ago when everything peaked, and it reacted and it sold off. Just like you said earlier, Bob, now it's kind of contained here in that 1885 area. We bounced off it again today, trading very technically, very clean, and looks lower to me again. So gold is not.
What a beautiful representation now of all of that price argument, right? And how you can say now that the bears are in control, because all the longs are underwater for that entire amount of price discovery.
And again, because here's again where they were, you were looking at this this wedge, and they were playing for the move possibly up here, and it was possible. We said, hey, 1950, 1960 still could trade, and it still could. However, not this time. So that's banged off of it once, banged off of it again, throw over there. We had one little spike over there, and now it's coming back down. If it gets back below 1850, we'll probably go back and test the lower end of that wedge right now. So just be aware that you've got to be flexible and as a trader to be responsive to what the market gives you. And again, right now, I think you've got to favor the short side. This trend hasn't changed. And until it closes a day or two above that level, I'm not that into it. So I'll continue to sell it. I made money. I'm out of it again. I covered it around 72. It's trading 1860s right now. So made about, $30, $28, whatever it was, which was a nice, day and a half trade. We'll take that all day. Snow also had another gap up this morning. I did not hit it after it sold off. It gapped and rallied, right here to the top of that profile at 360. I missed it. I would have sold probably 380 calls. I was just, again, it's the season. I'm not that into over trading right now, but that one was a nice little gap and trap again, just for a day trade. Again, these are just day trades that are out there. Zoom, again, we talked about it yesterday, fell off yesterday after spiking, and it's continuing back. So that whole move with the continued shutdowns has continued to evaporate. So again, the stay-at-home stocks are not getting the strength that they used to get. There's the continued momentum seems to be going away. Another one that I thought about, Boeing had a little spike this morning because they got they announced a 30 plane Air Max deal with Alaska Airlines. Why? I guess maybe because Alaska, got their money, the $15 billion from the payout coming. They decided to put in a purchase for some more airlines. By the way, that is my favorite airline, Alaska, to fly as a consumer. It's a very good airline, especially out here in the Northwest. It's always been a good one. Netflix, again, I'm just talking about these stocks that had these spikes, has come off. It had this spike yesterday. The stay-at-home stocks, 532 back to 522 today. Golden Slacks, again, we talked about that spike yesterday, couldn't maintain, but the big picture, again, you want to look at the big picture here. We remember it did break out, and we said that was the projected goal. So that trade's kind of over. I think, probably fading this to the short side, any rallies now probably is the right thing, because that trade kind of, wrapped up with the, 40-point move that we had from 216 up to 220. So I don't see this going too much higher right now into the end of the year. I think that gap and fill kind of happened, and then we ran, and this mirrored that move. So we're kind of, I don't, again, I'd favor the short side here, back to the balance. Amgen's been getting hit. I mean, some big names have really been getting sold into the end of the year, which, again, these aren't momentum names. So to me, I'm watching these leaders and going, hey, once the new year comes and some of these guys want to sell some of the stocks like Shopify and Snow, and when they do want to sell, you'll know they'll come back down.
Well, yeah, you'll know, because there won't be a bid to be found.
There won't be a bid to be found. Carvana, another one. I mean, really, people are struggling and people are buying more used cars? I mean, maybe. I don't get this one at all. Again, a $20 billion market cap for a used car website that allows you to, go and pick up your car and not have to deal with it and drive it and test it and do all that. And I don't know. This one doesn't make much sense to me. But again, what a run from 22 to 290. 15x, Bob. That's all. It's just 15x this year. That's it.
One of my favorite movies of all time, by the way, Used Cars.
And CrowdStrike, which, was the company that was involved with the 2016 election meddling, right? This company now is all of a sudden, it's been, I guess, found clean and gone from 30 to 224. Again, eightfold. I mean, these are just, I'm just throwing out. So
no, I get it.
Any monkey could be smart in this market just by throwing darts at 10 names. They're all up 6 to 20x this year. Folks, this isn't normal. I just want to, we're trying to talk about normalization. There will be a time where there's going to be some great momentum coming to the downside. These aren't going to go 8x again next year. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. It's the law of large numbers, and the game's about to be The rug's about to be pulled out under you, and I believe it'll happen between now and the first quarter. It'll happen.
All right, Matt. I appreciate your time and your insight.
And Warren just said Carvana doesn't even offer warranties on any of their vehicles. So good luck.
All right. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Join this growing community of traders looking for actionable intelligence. Well, at least honest and intelligent discussion of risk and reward. Matt, the natural don't. You got to have the natural don't in your bullpen, man. I'm telling you right now, all traders need somebody to talk sense into them, right? And at least explain a reasonable expectation of risk and reward, and that's what we're trying to do. Thanks, Matt.
Hey, Bob, get on your Peloton and ride. That thing, by the way, they spent, funny number, they spent $420 million. Why that number? I don't know.
Did they get that from the government?
Well, $420 million to buy Precor, which is another, these bikes, right? They bought another, so they're buying their competition, Peloton, and the stock goes up. Tell me about that one. Again, things aren't normal right now.
No, they are not.
So Peloton, and throws away $420 million to buy a staid old a bike company, your inside bike company again, and the stock is at 166 all-time highs again. And by the way, that won't last. 47 billion for a stationary bike company. Good Lord. I got to throw that out there. And then the other one, has anybody looked at Redfin lately? The brokerage. Let me just bring up this one. I got
fin me.
I got to toss it up because this one just boggles my mind. Real estate brokerage, right? This thing was on its way to zero in the fall, and it really was on its way to zero before COVID. And was up here at 32, fell to 8, and today 10x up at 83 traded, up another 4% today. Market cap of 8.3 billion. These are just astounding numbers to me for a national real estate brokerage firm. That's all it is. Look at this last move. Just please explain that to me and explain when the corkscrew move comes on it. Because it looks like it's going to do another loop. It's gone inverted. It's about to do a loop-de-loop. And again, when I start seeing that, I do the danger Will Robinson, robot from Lost in Space. Danger, danger. Dr. Smith.
All right, Matt. Happy Garbage Tuesday. Did you get your garbage out?
I got my garbage out.
Beautiful. Let's this is what we talk about. Having a standby that's helping you keep on track for your tasks in trading and in garbage day.
And 150 million for your zebra fund. Can't wait to start.
Hey, listen, that's going to go down. In 10 years when we have our 10-year Market Vitals reunion, for sure that's coming up on the screen. Just one, Matt. Just one. Paint me zebra stripes. All right, pal.
All right.
Have a great day.
Love you. See you.